Ever had a drill battery die on you and thought it was junk? What if I showed you not only how to bring that dead battery back to life, but also how to turn it into a working soldering iron using just an AA cell? Now, most of us have an old drill battery sitting on a shelf that won't hold a charge anymore. Usually we toss it aside or buy a new one, but today I'm going to show you a clever way to breathe new life into that dead pack using nothing more than a couple of simple pieces of scrap metal. And once we're done with that, we'll take things a step further, turning the same battery into a homemade soldering iron powered with a single AA cell. It's a project that's practical, cost-saving, and surprisingly fun to build. Stick with me until the end, because you might just discover a new trick that saves you money and earns you a tool you never thought you could make at home. The first step is simple, but it sets the stage for the whole repair. I grabbed 2 empty food cans, the kind you'd normally toss in the recycling, and carefully cut out the round lids. What we're really after here are the pull tab rings and the flat section of the lid. These pieces of metal may look like junk, but they're actually perfect for making a bridge between the good drill battery and the dead one. By trimming them down, we get 2 solid flat connectors that can handle current without breaking or burning out. Think of them like homemade jumper cables, only smaller and made from scrap that costs you nothing. This little trick is one of those classic DIY moves: take something ordinary, even trash, and turn it into a tool that solves a real problem. And in a moment, we'll put these lids to work. Now that we've got our can lids ready, it's time to put them to work. I take the first lid and press one end firmly against the negative and positive terminals of the dead drill battery. Then I use the second lid to connect the same way on the good battery, negative to negative, positive to positive. It may look a little rough, but what we're really doing here is creating a temporary bridge, just like a jumper cable for your car. The good battery is sending a shot of energy through those metal lids straight into the dead one. This process doesn't charge it fully, but it wakes the battery back up, letting it take a proper charge later when we plug it into the charger. Think of it as giving the weak battery a quick jump start. It's a clever way to bring life back to something most folks would have already thrown away. And the best part, it only takes a couple of minutes. Alright, now that we've got both batteries linked with our homemade bridge, it's time to see if this trick is really working. First, I grab my multimeter. I place the probes on each end of the metal lid, and right away you can see the needle jump. That means electricity is flowing. Our good battery is pushing current through the bridge and into the dead one. To make it even clearer, I hook up a little LED light. The moment the contacts touch, the LED glows bright. Simple but powerful proof that this setup isn't just theory, it's actually transferring energy. Now let's see if all that effort paid off. I remove the can lids and separate the 2 batteries. Then I slide the dead battery back into the drill and squeeze the trigger. Sure enough, it fires right up. Smooth, steady power, just like it should. Next, I pop the same battery into the charger, and for the first time, the charging light actually comes on. After about an hour, the pack is fully charged and ready to go. I test it again by driving a few screws, and the drill runs strong without hesitation. And just like that, a dead battery gets a second life. Stick around, because now we're going to take things up a notch, turning this setup into a homemade soldering iron. Let's find out. We'll start by making a simple handle. I've got a piece of round wooden dowel here, nothing fancy, just something sturdy that fits comfortably in the hand. Using a saw, I cut off a short section about the length of a marker. This will serve as the grip for our homemade soldering iron. Next, I take the drill and bore a hole straight down the center of the cut face. Go slow here, keeping the bit steady so the hole stays clean and centered. This opening will hold the graphite tip later on, so it doesn't need to be deep, just enough to fit snugly. With just a saw and a drill, we've already got the foundation of a tool handle, solid, simple, and ready for the next step. Now it's time to make the tip of our soldering iron, and for that we'll need the graphite rod hidden inside a regular AA battery. Most folks never think about what's inside these, but graphite is a great conductor of heat and just tough enough to hold up when soldering. To get to it, I carefully peel away the metal casing of the AA battery. You can use a pair of pliers or a small saw, just go steady and don't rush. Inside, you'll find a black rod-like core surrounded by filler material. That black rod is the graphite we're after. Once it's free, I clean it up with a rag so it's smooth and ready to fit into the handle we drilled earlier. This little stick of graphite will act as our soldering tip, cheap, easy to find, and surprisingly effective. With the wooden handle ready and the graphite core cleaned up, it's time to bring everything together. First, I take a length of red wire and strip about an inch of the insulation off the end. That gives me enough bare copper to work with. I thread the wire through the hole in the handle so it comes out right where the graphite tip will sit. Now I place the graphite rod snugly into the hole we drilled earlier. Using the stripped copper wire, I wrap it tightly around the graphite, making sure it has good contact. This connection is what will let the electricity heat the graphite tip, so it needs to be secure. On the other side of the red wire, I strip back another inch so it's ready for connecting to our power source later. I'll also prepare a second wire, the white one, to complete the circuit when we hook everything up. At this point, our simple wooden handle now has a real working heating element tucked inside. It doesn't look like much yet, but this is the backbone of our homemade soldering iron. What do you think? Will this actually heat enough to melt metal? Type yes or no in the comments, and let's see how many guessed it right by the end. All that's left is to hook it up to the drill battery and see if it really works. Now comes the real test. I clip one end of the razor blade with the alligator clip, then touch the graphite tip to the other blade. Instantly you see a spark, and just like that, the two pieces fuse together. That's a working solder joint powered only by our homemade tool. For a second test, I place a thin sheet of aluminum on a wooden board. With the graphite tip heated, I carefully draw across the surface. The strokes leave clear, permanent marks, proof that this little iron really does the job. With just a drill battery and a single AA cell, we built a working soldering iron. Simple, creative, and effective. Thanks so much for spending your time with me today. Every view, every comment really helps keep this channel going.